have the energy that I've always had. That's important. I think when I can't put the jersey on and give it full thing, I should leave, basically. The board probably, it's up to them at the time. Will I stay as chairman for a while? We'll see. But I think and we're on the way. I mean, we're moving people around.
OK, for more on this, let's bring in Bloomberg's Kriti Gupta, anchor, of course, of Markets Today show. Kriti, we're well on the way, JPMorgan, as Jamie Dimon says. He's long joked about the 5-year time horizon for how long he's going to stay at the bank. How seriously should we take? He's 68 years old, so clearly it's the back of his mind. How well positioned is JPMorgan right now for a change of leadership?
Well, some would argue that this has been in the works for a while. Remember back in 2021, he had already kind of reshuffled some of his lieutenants, if you will, at the top of the banks. Some key names here: Jen Pepsack, Troy Rohrbaugh is how I'm going to say that right. I apologize to him and to the team for getting that one wrong. But they basically expanded the commercial investment bank. Remember, you're talking about a time when we've never really been in this kind of economic environment where deal flow has been under such volatility until you really have the leadership kind of changing the game there, as well as their kind of commercial banking as well. So Marianne Lake and Jen Pepsack had initially co-run that part of the business. Then Jen moved to the investment bank side as well. Those are the kind of the three candidates to be put up for succession. Remember, one of the key pieces of this as well is that JPMorgan has never had a female CEO. So the fact that he is now promoted to their lieutenants signals that there might be some sort of confidence, some sort of move at least, that some of these senior women could potentially be in the running just as much as their male counterparts. And that is a really big deal when we talk about what is actually going to be leading JPMorgan into the next decade, for example. That's why this really matters. It's not necessarily the fact that the timeline is not 5 years anymore. It's about what part of the business is getting perhaps the most leadership, the most experience, and who's going to take the helm after. And
he says he's likely to stay on the boards, and he still has that energy to keep going, at least for now, to keep pulling on the jersey and getting onto the pitch to play for JPMorgan. When it comes to his kind of legacy, there's that aspect as well that maybe you can touch on. But also, he hit back against regulators once again. It's not new from Jamie Dimon, but he has arguably been the most vocal of those bank leaders on that front.
Yeah, and winning on the lobbying front when it comes to some of these stricter capital requirements. This is the Basel III endgame kind of policy that we're talking about. We're in the fallout of the SVB collapse, for example. You had a lot of people coming out and saying, well, maybe the banks need to be a little bit more cushioned, a little bit of kind of World War II, Great Depression kind of rhetoric in terms of really supporting the banks. Jamie Dimon saying, well, if you actually have more reserves, that means less lending capacity. It means higher credit standards. That actually hurts the entire economy. There was a number they put out on Monday that said 2/3 of consumers would maybe have to pay a monthly service fee for their checking accounts if the current proposals were implemented. That's how dire he's saying the situation is. And the fact that they were actually having reports over the weekend from the Wall Street Journal, for example, that those proposals are getting pulled back on Dimon and some of his colleagues' kind of behest, that is a good sign. And I think that's indicative of the kind of influence, of course, that Jamie Dimon has, not only running the largest bank in the world, but also this idea that he is very much someone who does get on the field and does get involved, not just when it comes to policy, but even in terms of buybacks, which he also tempered expectations for in the investor day.
Yeah, and the stock dipped on that comment around the buyback story, didn't it?